Hey, the BeerBiceps guy brings you TRS clips. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Right, so say in the year 1999, no one thought that within 20 years, we're going to have a television, a bank, a photo album, a camera, all of that and much more inside one small device that can fit in your pocket. So 1999, that was the perspective. 2019, that perspective was, oh shit, this happened. This is what our life is like now. So I feel like in the human story, especially as we're moving forward, there's going to be these massive technological advancements because of which the human experience suddenly becomes way different than it was even 5-10 years ago. And this is probably that next jump where, because of remote work becoming a possibility, because of what Naval Ravikant said about code and content are the future. So if you're capable of creating code or content, you'll be all right financially going forward. These are the new skills required of the world, and possibly cryptocurrencies will be the form of payment, will be the new gold in many ways. Is that fair to say that probably by 2040 we're going to be living in a very different world where I don't look at you and I say, okay, you're an American, or so and so is a Chinese, or so and so is Ethiopian. I just say, okay, you're a human, you need me to do this, you pay me through crypto, I'll do the service for you extremely well, and then we'll work together long term based on you giving me my salary in cryptocurrencies, or vice versa.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable vision for, especially for the tech world, right? Like, this is not going to be true universally. If you're a contractor and your job is to build buildings, it's going to be much harder for you to kind of transition into like a digital world. But for the people who living most of their lives digitally, their digital relationships, their digital work, they just need a laptop and they can be anywhere in the world and have their whole life with them and everything that they need to perform their craft and do their business. It's not going to be true for everybody, but it's going to be increasingly true for the digital, the people who kind of live digitally. And those lives may diverge much more quickly than people who are, doing a job or responsibilities that fix them to a certain place, or the physical world or the governmental world. So for some people, change will happen radically and quickly, and for others, it may not happen at all, or it'll only sort of tangentially affect their lives.
Right. In fact, in 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, Yuval Noah Harari says something beautiful. He says that borders, like a country's borders, are a very new concept for mankind. These things didn't exist earlier. Everything was pretty much a bunch of similar people in one area, and we call ourselves Indians, or we call ourselves Japanese, or whatever. But borders as a concept is a very he actually, I think in a part of the book, he kind of looked down on the concept of borders. He said that probably for this 200-300 year phase of human history, borders have become really important. But going forward, borders are also going to disappear again. And I do feel that cryptocurrencies are a massive part of that change that's going to happen. He also had a whole chapter on patriotism where he said that patriotism is basically a tool used by governing bodies to control mass populations and mass thought processes. Now, if I say that on a podcast, I'm sure I'm going to get hate from people saying, hey, are you saying you're not patriotic? No, I love my culture. I love India. I love what India has given me.
Yeah.
But it's just a nice concept to think of, that patriotism is a way for governments to tell you, oh shit, you're not thinking this way? That means you're a bad Japanese person, or you're a bad Ethiopian, or you're a bad Nigerian, or you're a bad Indian, or you're a bad American. So it's just some fun concepts to think of. And I feel like that's why it's also important to read books, because it just opens up your mind in ways that you didn't expect.
Yeah, Noel has a helpful kind of tool for that, where he says you should be suspect of any beliefs that you got in a package. So if it comes with, you're an American, you're supposed to believe, 1, 2, 3. You're a Catholic, you're supposed to believe 1, 2, 3. You're a Buddhist, you're supposed to believe 1, 2, 3. Like, anything that someone is handing you a bundle, like, you've got to learn to unbundle those and select the beliefs that maybe serve you. I think like the government certainly wants us to think and act in certain ways that makes us easy to govern and good citizens, but it's also like our culture sets that. I don't think that it's like a puppet master thing so much as like there are cultural norms that we are all held to and by our community and the people around us, because we need to rely on each other. We need to have a set of, cooperation rules and expectations so that we can effectively collaborate and work together as humans to like accomplish things. And use each other's skills and gifts and abilities and support each other. Like that's there's nothing insidious about that, I don't think.
Yeah. Have you heard of this guy called Russell Peters? He's a stand-up comic. He says that eventually the whole world is going to become beige. Like everything's just going to become one thing. Like we're all just going to become one kind of race, which is very true. Like that's what I strongly believe. And in many ways, it's not just biologically all of us are going to have sex with each other. It's also exactly what we spoke about, that you can work with anyone, whether they're sitting in Hawaii or Fiji or wherever they are in the world, Russia. You'll kind of feel a oneness. And also, I mean, I do have a very spiritual aspect of my life, and even the world of yoga, the world of spirituality predicts that for the following 2 or 3 centuries, that we're probably going to live in a much more unified world, because people are going to become much more connected through globalization, therefore have much more perspective, therefore become much more empathetic, and therefore kind of look at themselves as one and not look at, oh, you're a Pakistani, I'm an Indian, I'm supposed to hate you, so I hate you. Everyone's going to look at humans as humans.
Yeah, I'm really rooting for some sort of alien invasion that just unifies humanity. I feel like that's going to really bring us all together.